Let me ask you something and just, sit with this for a second. What if everything you've really wanted, the success, that deep satisfaction, the life that feels completely yours, what if it isn't some, distant prize you have to chase down? What if it's actually already within reach? And the only real barrier is how you see yourself, your own potential.
That's a really powerful way to frame it, isn't it? And it's an idea that really echoes through a lot of the timeless wisdom we're looking at today, especially from figures like Napoleon Hill. The core idea, and it's put so vividly, is that the world often acts like a mirror.
A mirror. Okay.
Yeah, it reflects back who you are, not just what you might wish for passively. It responds to the level of belief, the certainty you carry inside.
Absolutely. So it flips that old saying, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
This is more like, I'll see it when I believe it.
Right. And the message seems clear. Success isn't just for some lucky few. It's claimed. It's
Yeah.
earned by people who make that internal decision, that kind of deep declaration that they are worthy and they will get there. And that's really our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To get inside these powerful ideas, to unpack these principles and see how they suggest you can forge that kind of unstoppable mindset and start acting like right now as if you are the absolute best version of yourself.
Okay, so let's dive in. The very first principle that jumps out, the absolute starting point. It's described with some really intense language. It's not just wanting something. It's called desire.
Yes, and what's striking is how it's described. It's almost physical, like a burning, all-consuming obsession with a goal, as vital as needing air. It's the total opposite of just, mild interest.
Right, that white-hot intensity. And according to this thinking, that's the fuel. That's what gets you through the storms, the setbacks. Success isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have, something you feel driven to pursue. The
Hmm.
examples given, they weren't just casually hoping, were they?
Not at all. Think about Thomas Edison. He comes up a lot around this idea. We all know the story, thousands of attempts with the light bulb. But the point emphasized isn't just that he tried, it's that between each so-called failure, he held on to this just unwavering obsession. He didn't see them as failures, he saw them as necessary steps, data points on the way to what he believed was inevitable.
That non-negotiable desire.
Exactly. That level of desire just reframes setbacks completely.
So applying this first principle, desire, to your life,
Mm.
what does that mean? It means drilling down, right? Identifying your burning desire. What vision, what outcome truly sets your soul on fire? Forget practical for a minute. What possibility keeps you up at night with, like, electric excitement?
And the guidance is pretty practical on the next steps. Write it down, make that desire tangible, put it on paper. It pulls it out of just being a thought and gives it weight. Apparently, it dramatically increases your odds of actually doing something about it.
And here's where it gets really interesting. You have to visualize it
Hey.
daily, vividly. And this isn't just, feel good, positive thinking. It's presented as a tool used by top achievers everywhere. Athletes visualizing the win, entrepreneurs seeing the successful launch.
Right. By vividly seeing it and crucially feeling like it's already happened, you start conditioning your mind. The idea is your brain actually starts to rewire itself. It creates pathways that align your actions with that vision.
But, and this is a big but they point out,
Oh yeah, there's a catch.
visualization without action, that's just daydreaming.
Hmm.
The success described belongs to the doers, the movers, the ones who take risks, people who act with that unwavering belief, fueled by the desire. It demands real commitment, showing up daily, refusing to quit, especially when it gets hard.
So the secret, the real power unlocked here, it seems to be the moment you decide internally that success is non-negotiable. When you do that, the world, or maybe just your perception of it, starts to shift. You start attracting the right people, noticing opportunities you missed before.
Drawing resources to you.
Exactly. And maybe most importantly, pursuing that non-negotiable goal forces you to build resilience. You become the person capable of achieving it.
So the call to action is strong. Decide now. Turn desire into obsession. Write it. See it. Feel it. And then, crucially, take massive, unapologetic action. Winners don't just hope. They demand success through focus and action.
And that intensity, that demand, leads right into the second principle that's highlighted so strongly, faith.
Okay, faith, but not religious faith, right?
No, not in the traditional sense. It's specifically about cultivating that unshakable belief in yourself, believing you can achieve your goal, especially when nobody else does. It comes back to that core idea, famously put by Napoleon Hill, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
It's the bedrock. When you're facing huge obstacles, when everything outside says impossible, and maybe even your own doubt is screaming, That quiet, powerful force of faith is what keeps you moving. Without it, you crumble. With it, even the impossible starts to look, well, attainable.
And this raises a key question. Is this faith something you just have or don't? The texts say absolutely not. It's framed as an active choice, something you make every day, sometimes every hour, regardless of setbacks. Real faith isn't born in comfort, it's forged in adversity. That's when you have to stand firm and just declare internally, I am capable, I am worthy, I will succeed.
The examples are powerful, too. Henry Ford's absolute conviction about the automobile, despite everyone laughing, or Oprah facing rejection after rejection, but her belief in her vision was just stronger. They didn't wait for the world's permission. They imposed their belief onto the world.
And the world eventually caught up. It emphasizes that your mind isn't passive, it actively shapes your reality. If you truly believe in mediocrity deep down, well, your thoughts and actions will lead you there. But if you genuinely believe success is your birthright, your actions reflect that certainty, and the external world starts responding to that signal.
So it becomes about strategic alignment. Thoughts, beliefs, daily actions all harmonize with your goals. When that happens, success isn't if, it's just when. You condition yourself to expect victory.
But again, belief needs a partner. Action. Consistent, bold action. You have to take steps. Keep going, even without immediate results. The path is rarely straight, right? Twists, turns, failures. But with that faith, you just keep moving through them.
Which brings us to that idea of acting as if. I find this fascinating. What would you do right now if you knew, absolutely knew, you couldn't fail? How would you carry yourself? Speak. Approach challenges. The suggestion is, start acting that way now. Reality follows beliefs, not the other way around. Winners generate certainty from within.
And the perhaps uncomfortable truth presented is, until you believe in yourself first, it's hard to get others on board. Self-doubt gets broadcast somehow. But confidence, that quiet inner certainty, it acts like a magnet, drawing people, opportunities, resources. Success becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy for those who dare to believe.
So how do you actively build that belief? That takes us to principle number 3, autosuggestion. This is explicitly about training your mind.
Exactly. The core idea is simple but profound. Your thoughts shape your reality. What you repeatedly tell yourself, consciously or not, determines your actions and the life you build.
The analogy they use is powerful in your mind as a supercomputer running programs. These programs are your beliefs. If it's running doubt and fear, it steers you towards failure. But if you consciously program it for confidence and success, you transform your life.
So the call to action for you is clear. Seize control of that programming. Daily, be the vigilant guardian of your mind. Shield it from negativity, distractions, others' limitations. Actively rewire your brain.
And the methods are direct. Speak powerful affirmations. Things like, I am the best, I am unstoppable. Combine that with vivid visualization of your goals. It's about training your subconscious to expect victory.
And yeah, your conscious mind might fight back initially. What if I fail? This feels fake. But the instruction is, keep doing it anyway. The subconscious apparently accepts repeated emotionally charged statements as facts. Once it believes, your actions follow. Thoughts dictate emotions. Emotions drive actions. Unstoppable belief leads to confidence, which drives persistence.
Which attracts opportunities. It's a cycle.
Exactly. But it's never passive. Action must follow. Champions train. Entrepreneurs take risks. The question to ask yourself is, what would the absolute best version of me do right now? And then do that. Live that reality now.
Repetition is key here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mother of skill, mother of belief. Affirm, visualize, act in alignment. Eventually, it stops feeling forced. It just becomes who you are.
It's ultimately about control. The world tries to limit you, but you control your thoughts. Therefore, you control your reality. Your mind is your most powerful weapon. Train it. Program it. Unleash it.
Okay. Moving from the internal programming to more tangible power.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth principle, specialized knowledge.
Right. And this isn't just knowing a little bit about everything. This is about deep mastery, becoming the undisputed expert in your specific field.
The argument is pretty compelling. The world rewards masters, not generalists. Hard work isn't enough on its own. You need that depth of knowledge. That's the edge. That's what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary.
So the big question for you is, what do you need to master? What specific skill, what expertise will truly set you apart? This is apparently a major differentiator for winners. You need capabilities others haven't bothered to acquire.
And how do you get it? The path sounds demanding. Relentless, lifelong learning.
Absolutely. Study, read, find mentors, dissect strategies, apply lessons, consume things that challenge your thinking. Analyze the leaders in your field. Go deep. way beyond the surface.
But here's the kicker they stress. Knowledge without application is useless, wasted potential. You only unleash its power when you test it, use it, refine it in the real world. Experiment, fail, adjust. That's how knowledge becomes skill, then mastery.
And when you reach that level, your value skyrockets. The world pays a premium for experts, solves specific problems better than anyone else, and you become indispensable.
But mastery isn't static, right? It's a moving target.
Definitely. You never arrive. The world changes, industries shift. You have to stay humble, stay learning, remain a student to stay at the top.
So the commitment is decide to master something. Choose your field. Dive in. Study relentlessly. Apply constantly. Actions and results are the proof. General knowledge, average. Specialized knowledge, that's power.
Okay, so we have desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge. But none of it moves without the fifth principle. Decision. Success belongs to the decisive.
And what's fascinating here is the observation that lack of decision is apparently a primary reason for failure. That inability to choose, hesitation, second-guessing, they're called assassins of dreams. Opportunities aren't usually taken away. You forfeit them by hesitating.
And that indecision is paralyzing, isn't it? It guarantees mediocrity because you can't act without deciding, waiting for that perfect, risk-free moment that never comes. It's just lost time.
So how do successful people do it, according to these ideas? They decide quickly, confidently. They don't need all the answers. They trust themselves, their instincts, their ability to figure it out. No endless validation needed. Decide, act, adjust. That seems to be the pattern. The great leaders didn't wait for permission. They just moved.
And the really liberating part is, you don't need to be perfect or have all the info to start. Clarity comes from action, not just thinking about it. Make more decisions, sharpen your instincts, take more risks, get better at navigating uncertainty.
There's also that perspective shift. Even a wrong decision is usually better than none. It gives you feedback, lessons, momentum. Mistakes propel you forward.
Exactly. Inaction is the real enemy, that atrophy that sets in when you're frozen.
So the challenge to you is stark. How often have you waited too long? Analyzed an opportunity to death. What if you just decided? Right now, trust yourself. Act like the best. They don't dither. Learn on the fly. Grow because you're moving. Don't wait for certainty. Create it with decisive action. The world belongs to those who decide.
Okay, but even with all that, the path will get tough. Which brings us straight to principle number 6, persistence. Simply refusing to quit.
Yeah, every great success story is littered with obstacles. The road is designed to test you. And the common thread among those who make it, they just kept going.
Failure in this framework isn't the end. It's a lesson, a stepping stone. Unavoidable. Think of Edison, Ford facing bankruptcy, Disney getting fired. They all hit points where most would quit. But they refuse to let failure define them. As long as you keep moving, keep learning, you haven't truly failed.
That example of the Great Depression is powerful too. Millions lost everything, total despair. But the ones who refused to quit, who adapted, pushed through, they became the next wave of success stories.
Right. Adversity is temporary. Quitting is permanent. Success belongs to those who endure.
So when life knocks you down, and it will, the action for you is simple. Get back up. Stronger. Smarter. Adopt that mindset. Act as if you cannot lose. Remove quitting as an option.
When you do that, you force yourself to be resourceful, to find solutions, to push through pain and doubt until victory is the only outcome left.
Looking at self-made successes, the pattern is clear. Resilience, persistence, unbreakable belief. Often the difference isn't talent or luck. It's just the raw ability to keep going when others stop. Seeing failure as redirection.
And the struggle itself shapes you, doesn't it? The pain strengthens you. Pushing past failure makes you tougher, smarter, more prepared. In those moments you want to give up, the message is, remember, refusing to quit means you haven't failed. The only real failure is stopping before the finish line. Everything else is just part of the journey.
Now, navigating that journey isn't just about solo effort. Principle 7 highlights a crucial external factor, the mastermind group. Who you surround yourself with matters a lot.
It's a fundamental truth. Nobody makes it big entirely alone. The people you associate with massively influence how far you go. Great achievers, like those studied by Napoleon Hill, actively built strong networks, alliances.
And Hill's concept of the mastermind group, it's specific, isn't it? Not just friends, but like-minded, ambitious people challenging and supporting each other.
Exactly. Incubators for success, refining ideas, forging strategies, strengthening mindsets together.
The influence is undeniable. Surround yourself with winners, you operate higher. Surround yourself with complainers.
You absorb that limited thinking. Yeah, spend time with big thinkers, people striving, you get pulled up. Your habits, your ambitions, they're all affected.
So it's about leveraging collective power, not just individual effort.
Yeah.
That analogy is great. A lion raised with sheep starts to baa.
Right, align with giants. And you're compelled to grow. The people around you are either pushing you forward or pulling you back. No neutral ground.
So how do you build your mastermind based on this? First, seek out inspiring people. Learn from those who've done what you want to do. Books, content, interviews.
Second, be ruthless about negative influences. Guard your energy. Create distance from doubters, drainers, small thinkers.
Third, add value. Relationships are mutual. Ask, what can I bring? Offer insights, support, encouragement, uplift others.
And finally, hold yourself to a higher standard. To walk with lions, act like one. Expect excellence. Commit to growth. Never settle.
The bottom line is clear. People are either pushing you or pulling you. Choose wisely.
Okay, our eighth and final principle brings us back inside, to the engine room. The subconscious mind. Control it or it controls you.
The garden analogy is powerful here. Your subconscious is fertile ground. Seeds planted deliberately or by default will grow. Seeds of doubt and fear. You get mediocrity, pain. Seeds of confidence and belief.
Yeah.
You get success. Consistent thoughts become blueprints for reality.
And the difference is stark. Most people drift, letting negativity take root. Masters seize control. They consciously plant powerful beliefs.
So the action for you is deliberate cultivation. Feed your mind positivity daily. Not just fluffy stuff, but foundational programming.
Be the gatekeeper. Guard against the constant external bombardment.
Read books that expand your thinking. Listen to audios that ignite passion. Curate your feeds for inspiration. Surround yourself with uplifting people.
Immerse yourself in an environment, mental and physical, that reinforces your goals and beliefs. Drown out the negativity.
And the way it works.
Yeah.
The subconscious doesn't know imagination from reality, right?
Apparently not. Repeat winner, unstoppable. Success is my birthright, with real feeling. The subconscious accepts it as truth. Then actions, habits, posture, they all start to align. You see opportunities others miss. Obstacles become problems to solve, not walls.
It's not magic. It's described as psychological programming,
Yeah.
used by elite performers everywhere.
The battle is won first in the mind.
Your future is being shaped right now by the thoughts you're planting. Weeds or seeds of success, the choice is yours.
And really pulling all these principles together, desire, faith, autosuggestion, knowledge, persistence, mastermind, subconscious control, they all circle back to that driving force, decisive action.
Remember the Great Depression example? Faced with fear, most froze. But those who took bold, decisive action, starting things, innovating, investing, they thrived.
While others waited, the courageous few gained a massive advantage just by being in motion, creating their own reality through action.
And that applies directly to you. Your challenges, your opportunities. Freeze or act. Analyze to death or seize the moment.
The world pays for results. Results only come from action. Decisive action cuts through fear. It's the engine. While others wait for conditions, you create your own conditions through action.
Which brings us back to the core message from all this wisdom, echoing people like Napoleon Hill. You are the commander of your destiny, the architect of your reality.
It starts in your mind. Cultivate desire, build faith, program success, pursue mastery, decide quickly, persist relentlessly, surround yourself wisely.
The power to create the life you envision. It's presented as being right there, inside you. Believe it. Act on it.
And then watch, maybe with some awe, as the world starts to rearrange itself to match your conviction.
So, based on everything we've deep dived into today, about architecting your reality, about acting as the absolute best, what's the one single action you'll take, starting right now, the second this ends? What's that first step to embody these principles? Hold on to that thought.